Good evening, friends. Dennis LaRue here, your international executive coach, founder of my own company, LDR. But thanks to my friend Amy, number 33, you know who you are. I saw this on one of your posts and I love it. I'm also your CIO. I'm your Chief Inspiration Officer for the hashtag Steel Toes Quote of the Week. Now, why is it called? This is our fourth installment, but for some of you that are new, why is this called hashtag Steel Toes Required? Because it's simply this. It's because something I'm about to say is going to step on your toes. The quote may be an application or a thought that comes to your mind provoked from our time together will step on your toes a little bit. Thus, hashtag Steel Toes Required quote of the week. And here it is. This quote is one you've heard. Many of my friends here on Facebook, I know you've heard this quote before. You've probably heard it many times. But still, it still steps on my toes, and here it comes. It's simply this. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. I'll say it again. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And that source is unknown, but that's a well-known quote. And I'm telling you right now, I'm reaching down, I'm touching my toes because they hurt. That quote hurt. So let me ask you, look at where you're at today. Do you like where you're at today? Look who you are today, who you've become, the person you look at in the mirror every day. Who do you see in that mirror? Who are you thinking about? Hey, Mom, glad you're here. Amy, love you, number 33. Do you like who you are? Because here's what I know. I do know this. Who you are today is a result of who you were and the decisions and actions you made in the past. That's a fact. And it's compounded daily. Here's the formula. The formula I've heard is starts with a thought, leads to action, actions become habits, and habits over time become your character and your circumstances. So, look to your past to see where you are today. But as I was thinking through this, I asked myself today, if I were to look back, what would I thank my previous self for? Because we got to celebrate the wins. I mean, there's some things I would want to change, but time doesn't permit me to go through all of those. It's a rather lengthy list, I'll tell you right now. But there are a few things that I'm very grateful for. My past self from where I am today. And I want to thank myself for joining the United States Air Force. What a decision. I didn't want to be in the military initially. My high school thinking was my mindset was so way off base. But I'm so grateful I joined the Air Force. And Veterans Day is coming up this week. And I want to say to all my vets out there that I love you. I understand what you've been through. I served 23 years in the Air Force, been retired for 2. And I appreciate every single one of you. No matter if you did 1 year or you did 30 years. I appreciate each one of you. And those of you who are active duty, continue to make our military the best military in the world. Keep doing what you're doing. Make it better. That's one thing I'm grateful for. The other thing is that I completed my education. Now, my cross-country coach recently, Mark Will Weber from Moravian College, was just inducted into the Moravian College Schools Hall of Fame. And I got to be coached by Webbs. And Webbs will tell you, and I can tell you right now, that I was a good runner. I was running well on the track. I was running well in cross country, but I was running from class, not to class. That is a bad mixture if you want to stick around for a long time. And incidentally, I didn't complete my education there at Moravian, but I'm so grateful that I did complete my bachelor's degree, and then I did complete my master's degree, and I thank myself for going back to school and getting my education. One of the best moves I made. And that's right, Amy, run the mile you're in. That's exactly right. I love it. What else would I thank myself for? I would thank myself for my investing in myself, in my personal growth and development, by stepping out of another mindset that I had where I was only reading specific material and not branching out and reading books on leadership, personal growth and development. And because of that, I'm here today because of reading those books like John Maxwell or Brian Tracy. John Maxwell is probably my biggest influencer from reading, and he really changed my entire thought process. He changed who I was through my military growth and investing in myself, not only to read his books, but to be in conferences where he was speaking and then to be trained by him and certified by him as a coach. I mean, I'm living the dream. And so I thank myself for all of those avenues that I'm in. But now it's your turn. First, celebrate. Thank yourself for 3 things, just 3, that because those 3 things that you decided, those decisions you made, are who you are today. Take that time to do that. You gotta give yourself some credit, but don't stay stuck, because now you need to do something today, right now, each day, to get to where you want to go. Now, we've recently, if you've watched the last 3 episodes of #SteeltoesRequired, then you know that you got to begin with the end in mind. So what does the finish line look like? What does that finish line look like for you? Because that's your future self. And so what are you going to do today? That's your future self. When you cross that finish line, you're going to turn and look back and say thank you to yourself for the decision that you are going to make today. And here's what I'll tell you. Here's your action step. I got this from John Maxwell and recently was reinforced by John Maxwell's CEO of all of his companies, Mark Cole. He challenged me recently to come up with my rule of 5. Those are the 5 daily disciplines that I need to do in order to get to that future self finish line. I finally wrote them down today. I'm not going to share them with you here because I promised Mark that I would shoot him an email first. So I'm going to email Mark my rule of 5, but your job is to identify 5 daily disciplines you have to do every single day to get to the end, the finish line. And guess what? Mark reminded me of this. Your rule of 5 takes no days off. There are no holidays in the rule of 5. As a matter of fact, if you take a day off, you lose momentum, people. Don't lose your momentum. It is much easier to keep the ball rolling and bouncing than it is to pick it up and start it all over again. So, identify your rule of 5. I'll close with this final quote. Again, what are you going to do today that your future self is going to thank you for? If this encouraged you, if this inspired you, I hope it did, because if I'm a CIO and I'm not inspiring you, then oh my, I'm not doing a very good job. So if this did, all I ask is you share this with your friends, share this with your contacts, and I want this to be an encouragement to everybody out there. That's all. That's it. Just want them to do that. And if you would like to learn more, if you want to be in a group of like-minded people who are focused on getting to the finish line, who are focused on making daily changes and daily tweaks to get to where they want to go, just send me a private message on Facebook. You can make a comment here, whatever that is, and I would love to talk with you. So, here we go. Get your rule of 5. Do it now. Do it today. And then not only identify it, but then start doing it so that your future self, you can look back when you cross the finish line and say, thank you, job well done. This is Dennis LaRue with your #SteelToesRequired quote of the week. I'm out. We'll see you next week, 8 p.m. Central, right here, Facebook Live, with another edition of #SteelToesRequired.